Feeling rather nostalgic today, we are releasing, and by we, I mean Somerville Sounds, the new old prototype Meyer choir. Prototypes are our free plugins. They do not require contact. They work AU, VST. When we started Somerville Sounds, I knew I wanted the prototypes to be a big part of this, and the first one that we released was actually a new sound called Rubber Bridge Plucks, which is approaching 5,000 downloads, which is awesome. But I also want to bring back some of my favorite prototypes, and the Meyer choir is the first one to get the new look. I printed this out. Probably the thumbnail. Luke drew that. It's not my work. I went through and grabbed all these old videos.
Like everyone else on the planet,
Very dramatic voiceover.
my family and I have been stuck at home for the past 3 months. We're fortunate enough to have a
We were right at the beginning of COVID when I did this. He's 14 now. He still sits right there on his computer. My wife. That's Luke, who's now 9. I'll link to the video below. I responded to COVID by spending all my time learning cinematography. When I look back at this, that was my old Panasonic GH5, and there are some things I like about that image more than my current camera, but it didn't have autofocus, and that doesn't work in this situation. I'll show you the sounds here in a second, but I want to encourage every single one of you to do something like this, whether you have kids or whatever. I treasure this instrument. I call it the perfectly imperfect family choir, and it is that. Hunter and Owen, the other parts of Somerville Sounds, well, they made folk voices, the instrument, through Spitfire, and now that's what a choir is supposed to sound like. This is like 8 samples. The original version here, that's when I cut my own hair. Remember when we all did that? That's my wife. For those of you who don't know how families with young children work, this was a struggle. It was, come in here, I'll go get Chick-fil-A if you sing these 4 notes that take you 45 seconds. I am most proud that it even exists. You can see here lots of edits, lots of auto-tune, just to get long sustained notes. Basically here I'm making a wet version, a processed version. I also don't fit in that shirt anymore, but I'm not sure it fits there. Let's take a look at the new prototype. Front page, just like Rubber Bridge Plucks, there's nothing to do. Open them up and make sound. These sounds are stretched a long way. So when you get to the root note of the sound, it sounds very normal. And then when it's pitched a lot until it gets to the next note, it sounds kind of otherworldly, which I really like. Click here, it jumps to page 2, and we have basic presets here. This is All of Us. Hunter made this one called Chipmunks. He is manipulating the ADSR to get that sound. So that is on this page. Slow attack, slow decay, medium sustain, and fast release. I hear a lot of uses for that. I made this one. This is just my wife's voice. With a very slow attack and long release, you can go from dry to wet. No girls allowed. Hunter did that. Get it? Get it? Polka dots. Silk swell. Sweet swell. That's nice. And family tree. I like to layer this in with other pads so you get that thicker sound, but then you have this swimming around, slow attack, long release, because it is changing over time. As always, be crazy and run it through all of your own effects, especially something like Sweet Swell. time it to your track, whatever. Turn the individual singers on and off. Adjust volume. There's not much to these, and that is by design. But when you need that perfectly imperfect family choir that sounds like 2020, this is your go-to. All of our prototypes are pay what you want. Your donations are valued. And I'll say this, part of the process of making our other paid instruments, our contact libraries, well, they require these fairly significant licensing fees up front. So there is a direct correlation between your donations and paying those fees. Be sure to check our other instruments, mallet drums, soft drums, and post felt, along with our first free prototype, or pay what you want prototype, rubber bridge plugs. Talk soon.